Welcome everyone to Bharat Science Transnational Webinar Series 13. So this is the last webinar for this year, for 2011. सबका स्वागत है इस लास्ट वेबिनार पर 2011 के और अब इसी को हम अगले साल भी जारी रखेंगे और आपको बता देंगे साल के शुरू में कि कब होगा नेक्स्ट ईयर। हो सकता है हम हर वीक ना करें या हर 2 वीक्स या हर मंथ हम आपको बताएंगे। So today's topic is mindful and mindfulness, and our presenters are Dr. Ram Sharma, Associate Professor and Head Department of English in UP India. And there's Renu Sharma ji. She's a certified yoga teacher from Vancouver, BC, and myself, the editor of Bharat Times. And I encourage you to join us and be with us and comment, suggestion, anything you like. So starting with the webinar today, and the topic, mindful and mindfulness. Okay. So mindfulness is basically living in the present moment, just that moment there where you're living, the present. And whereas mindful is you're mindful of yourself, you're observing yourself and thoughts and feelings. And that comes after a lot of, I would say, a lot of awareness, a lot of, could be, for some people, it could be meditation as a result of that. But basically it's awareness or yoga, or people who are into that, they will be more aware of this. They are basically very mindful. So when we are mindful, so mindfulness comes after. So first, being mindful, what it is we become observant of ourselves. We become the object, at the same time we're the subject. So there are times that the sages speak of, or it's mentioned in the paranormal, where science relieves itself of any claim because it is outside the objective boundaries. Or even great spiritual beings, they claim that they have taken a walk out of their bodies and they have actually observed their own bodies sleeping from top, or however it may be. Now, this is to the extreme, but the idea is there. So in real world, how do we become mindful? We become focused, not on just the present, but we become aware of what we do, how we present ourselves, what are we speaking, are we thinking before we're speaking, or what we're doing. And it's really easy to point at someone else and say, so-and-so is like that, and they should be like this, they should be like that. But that same thing we got to do about ourselves to be mindful. And being mindful is when we say things like, I don't like my behavior was good, I should have done this, not as a reaction from someone else's comment, but from being mindful about ourselves. And how to become mindful. How do we get to the stage of being able to observe ourselves, not subjectively, but objectively? A bit of subjectivity will always remain. And it's mindfulness. And how do we do that? It's also traces to Pali words like from the Buddhism, it's basically awareness, attention, alertness. When we're totally alert, we're very observant. And it also kind of like refers to Vipassana, which means insight cultivated by meditation. So that's why a lot of people, they kind of like refer these terms as the result of our meditation. And when you are mindful, there are attitudes too that you can observe in a person. When a person is mindful, they will be non-judgmental, very patient. They'll wait for you to speak, great listeners. They do establish that trust readily too. And they accept you the way you are, right? And they're very good at just letting go, whatever it is. So that's when you start becoming, that's a little bit jumping from mindful to mindfulness, but they are kind of like related as well. So that is when you become from mindful to mindfulness. At mindful, you're aware, you are attentive, you're alert, and you can see how you behave. You can, perhaps you're able to, let's say, interpret yourself, your behavior, your feelings, your emotions. And then at the state of being mindfulness, that is because you are in tuned to being observant to yourself. And these are the human things. I do it, he does it, she does it, we all do it. You start becoming non-judgmental. You start becoming patient with people and building trust and letting go. And that, and living in the present, accepting the present moment. However, that does not mean that you should forget the past and all that. But however, lessons from the past, they will build your present. However, being judgmental and patient, letting go and acceptance is there. So that kind of like grounds you a bit. And if something is not right, you'll probably be just getting away from that. So then again, coming to the mindfulness, how do we achieve these things? I mean, it's easy to say what this is, what that is, definitions and stuff. So start with, you do need to perhaps take a walk by yourself, take some solitude, seek some solitude moments, and listen to maybe some soulful music. Classical music is my favorite, but there are a lot of these spiritual musics or calming musics there and stuff. And pay attention to the sounds, like your senses. You shouldn't really even have to be there or be looking at something or somewhere to be able to attentive, but you should be aware of the surroundings regardless. And that can come with developing those kind of habits, right? So, so living in the present, that improves your focus and your awareness of opportunities. Sometimes you miss them. However, so here's an example. When, let's say a person, he's a consultant or something. So when they sit with one person, this is in modern day example, sit with one person, just focus on that. Okay, that will be starting with the being mindful, that just focus on that subject with that person and their thing and what you're talking about with them, and forget about the other ones. Okay, if a worry is nagging you behind for something else, regardless of that present moment, that is going to take your focus away. And so when you're doing something, be there fully present to do that thing. And even though we say we boast about it for women that we can do multitasking, yes, we can. When time comes, we can really do multitasking, many, many things at once. However, to really focus and be aware and improve the focus and stuff, you gotta maybe let go of a little bit of multitasking and just focus on that thing. So this is how it becomes handy in everyday, present day things. Suppose that if you're going to school, okay, you are in a history class, do not sit there and worry about your math class. Pay attention, be focused just on that class and what's being taught and just around that curriculum and all that. And that will be developing your mindfulness and that'll be making you mindful and then developing your mindfulness. And there is a philosophical concept exists there too. There's philosophical presentism, which is the view that the future doesn't exist and the past doesn't exist, and it's only the present. Okay, and there are different versions of presentness also, or presentism, or presentness, or the present moment. And so it's the present, how it's explained in philosophy is that it's timeless objects or timeless ideas, right? So they are just there just for the present. Numbers, they're just there for the present. Or there's a very good example from the Aristotle, there's the problem of the parabola a ball makes. When you throw a ball, it goes in a curve. Then there's a very split-second moment when it just suspends itself. There's no force on it, nothing, no vertical force, horizontal force, nothing. And then it goes on the other side. And that being suspended in that moment, that is the present moment, and that just being in the moment, you become the moment yourself as well. So how do we, again, in the present day, whatever you're doing, be fully focused on that. So that'll be being mindful and then leading to mindfulness. And what can help you to bridge the gap will be meditation. Or even if you're doing yoga, because yoga, where the yoga ends, the meditation starts. So that's the way to, if you want to follow from the beginning, start doing yoga or prayers or seeking solitude, calming music, calming environment. And that is the way to get to that. And so meditation, what that does, it helps us to bridge the gap between the emotions from the present and eagerness of the future, okay? So that we can be more present in the present moment. And well, you got to be careful about that too, being present in the present moment. That does not mean that the past does not exist. And that does not mean that the future isn't coming, because the present is making your future. And the past, we should learn all the lessons, and we, that's sets the stepstone for the present. And we should be aware of that as well. So that is going from being mindful and mindfulness, and just letting go of the past, future thoughts, being relaxed, being present in the present moment, accept how the present is instead of fighting it. You can work towards changing it, but not fighting it. Meditate, pray, seek solitude, sit quietly, seek calm, and get in touch with your senses. Okay. There's, I wanted to say, people who don't have one of the senses, they are very in tune, even more so in tuned into their feelings and stuff. For example, if a person is blind, their eyes cannot see, however, they can sense. The other senses become more developed. So this is what we must do to become totally present in the present moment, not just rely on our physical senses of just seeing, tasting, this and that, and hearing and smelling, but develop them to the point that where even without the use of them, we are totally in tune and we know what's going on. So that's being aware, being attentive, being alert. That's vipassana. And with that will come all the other things which are for mindfulness, that because you sense these things, you'll always run away from, okay, something unwanted, but the acceptance, letting go, being non-judgmental, because you have become aware of yourself. And this is how then you start dealing with other human beings, not just at the physical level, but at emotional and spiritual and at that mindfulness level as well. So again, just as before, being mindful, mindfulness can really help us being in touch with the present. And yes, it does come from seeking calm and meditation and yoga. So that's my take on mindful and mindfulness. And I would like to invite Renuji, please take the floor and tell us about your view of mindful and mindfulness. Thank you.
Thank you, Monika ji. You explained very well, almost everything in what we're supposed to know. And I will just say a few words about it. mindful. That is a fancy name for, or modern name for meditation, because a lot of people get a little bit, they think um, it's kind of ethical word, and they don't want to go near it. And when you say mindfulness, mindful, what is mindfulness is, and then they get very interested in that because something new to them. But it's basically it's the same thing. It's just a front page of meditation. What is mindfulness? This is very clear. Mindfulness, that we focus our mind on one thing, on the present, what we want to do. And it's the basic ability for us to make us aware that we live in the present. We don't go in the past, we don't go in the future, and we stay focused on one thing only. And we don't get overreactive or overwhelmed with our thoughts. The way I will put it, I think mindfulness will help us to create space in our actions, in our thoughts, in our sensitivities, and in our daily kind of work, how we want to do our actions, and what do we expect from them. And it's basic the platform for that. There are certain types of mindfulness. You can do mindfulness by walking, by sitting, by sleeping. And when you sleep, you might really want to sleep then, right? But that's also create mindfulness, because it will calm your brain down, and then you will fall asleep. And it's okay for few people, they can really sleep, but it's not good for few people. They can only have a nap only. And we can also call it power nap. And power nap is very powerful too. And that's also mindfulness, because that regenerate your energy in your body. And it does come only maybe for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, only could be for 2 minutes, and you are full of energy. And that's another part of mindfulness, because you are lying down or you are sitting down quietly with that predicament in your mind, that you are going to live in that moment. You just want 5 minutes nap. You just want to energize yourself. You want to just wake up your body, wake up the sleepiness, or whatever you are feeling that time. And this urge to energize yourself, that's called power nap. That also come as meditation, because they are also short intervals in your mindfulness. Because if you are doing something, working all day, and you get your breaks, sometimes we get coffee breaks, and rather than drinking coffee, we close our eyes, because closing our eyes will energize our thoughts. And this is why we have short breaks in our work breaks or in our daily living. You can try that, and it does work. And sometimes we do just want to meditate. We say, okay, I'm just for half an hour, I'm just going to meditate. I'm just going to do some yoga or some other sports that you are familiar with. So they're all parts of mindfulness. Mindfulness have many benefits. Why we do that? We reduce our stress, and we become aware of our vicinity, what we are sitting in, our environment, our vicinity around us, and who is around us, and all those kind of things. And then you observe your mind also at that time. What your mind is thinking, is your mind is thinking of evil thoughts or kind thoughts or calm thoughts, or any other kind of thoughts that you want to think of, or you want to resolve an issue, those kind of things. And you can meditate on that. When you meditate on those things, that sometimes you get an answer. It will just takes you to a way that you will find some answer, because with eyes open, you see the world around you. You don't see inside you, because answer is inside you and you searching for it, and you get it when you close your eyes. That's another part of mindfulness. And then it increase our attention, that we want to stay well for ourselves. And that's why we want to meditate, because when we learn in daily living that, oh, so much is going on, so many people are talking, so much noise around us, and you just want to go in a quiet place, you want to cave into something, that you want to sit quietly there. And that's also create mindfulness in you. Mindfulness is not expensive. You can try that anywhere, and you don't need expensive clothes. You don't need expensive gadgets to wear, and you don't need expensive music, nothing like that. You just can sit there and you can just play your inner music. Okay. And even you are sitting somewhere, like you can hear all the music from the traffic by the window. That's also mindfulness. And slowly, when your mind will listening to that noise, and then slowly when your eyes are closed and you just start going inwards, and then the music they're playing, music is my traffic noise, right? And even that music tames down, and then after a while, then you go into your own world and you are not listening to any music, no traffic, no nothing. So that's called mindfulness, because you're concentrating on your thoughts, concentrating inside of your thoughts. What are you thinking? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they going to energize you? Are they going to calm you down, or whatever? And the thing is, and then we can, a lot of people say, oh, how to do mindfulness. These are the actions of mindfulness that they can act on us, on our body, on our thoughts, on our action. But what is mindfulness is just basically simple things. How do you sit for meditation? You can prepare yourself. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit on a chair and make sure your body is calm. Your body is in one harmony, and body is also spontaneous. You can sit with loose clothes, nothing constricting you. If some people are sitting in the office, they can just loosen up their ties, they can take your blazer off, and they can just sit quietly and loosen up your body. Make sure your legs are not dangling on the chair, and then you are just dangling them all the time, and that's also very that will interfere with your mindfulness. Make sure you're sitting still, your feet are still, your legs are still, your arms are on your side, and you try to get ready for your meditation. We call it mindfulness. It looks a little bit sophisticated word, but it's basically meditation. This is what we are doing. And then you start breathing in, and once you breathe in and out, and that will calm down your body, calm down your thought, calm down your heart rate, calm down your pulse rate. So it brings it back to normal, and you feel normal, you feel at peace. And what you need to really know about meditation is basically you need to know, if you hear from people or you're learning on your own, then you will know that your mind is going to wander. Mind is going to think, and just continuous thinking. One thought can take you to the other thought, then second thought takes you other thoughts. So it's just continuous, and you have to stop. You have to put a barrier in your thinking, so you can just stay in the present moment. Minds will get so many thoughts, but you have to make a space between the thoughts. Once you learn to make a space between the thoughts, then you will learn to think less and less, and you will bring back your mind. Okay, no, you're not wandering, you're coming back. You have to kind of, bring back your mind, put a harness on the mind. Okay, you're drifting away. Now you have to pull it back. And it's all about returning your mind again and again and again. And also you always make sure that when you're sitting for mindfulness, you do not judge people. judgment will come to you. You don't judge them. You become the judge for your own self, and judgment will come to you. Then you will learn, oh, yeah, we should be more thoughtfulness of other people, more considerate of other people's needs. We don't need to start jumping and start making noise and just jump the gun all of a sudden. Just take a deep breath, step back, calm down, and then you will know what mindfulness is. Mindfulness will connect you to the present moment. And sometimes you see some people are talking and you're already, oh yeah, it happened 5 years ago, and you but right in and start seeing the conversation. That will delete the whole purpose. That will destroy the whole mood that anybody's trying to set in. What they're talking about, they're talking about the present, and they're talking about present ideas, and they're not talking about, maybe they can you can take a clue from that, but don't just go back and don't go forward either. Just stay in the present and stay connected to your mind, stay connected with yourself, stay connected with your heart, and it's all about presentness. Okay, and I think this is it for mindfulness, and this is it for meditation, and it's nothing that you need to struggle about, and just you need to give the time. Time will bring mindfulness in you. Okay, and this is all you need. So I will just pass it back to Monica ji now. Okay, Monica ji.
Okay, thank you so much, Emily. Thank you. Yeah, that was a pretty good explanation on that, just going on in detail, and yeah, how to do it in our everyday life nowadays. Excellent, thank you. Dr. Ram Sharma, so please give us your view on mindfulness, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. And I greet you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. And good evening here and good morning there. Thoughts and emotions come like a storm. You just have to take cover and revisit your issues when everything is settled and is calm. Means just like a storm is coming, your thoughts are coming to your mind. And you have to calm your mind. Aware mindfulness allows self-dialogue to make room, where your thoughts and emotions can put aside all the messages, all the storms, all the negativity. A regular commitment to mindfulness and an understanding of the core philosophy of emptiness and impermanence helps us see our pain. Man who found himself in a place where all was only over well, and he began enjoying the existence of his dreams. Whether a week, however, he was so bored that he went to the angel and said, I would like to do something. You need to give me some work. This is the case of the heaven when person was sent to heaven and he was just enjoying all the day, all the month, all the year. He replied, the angel replied, there is no work here, no jobs, no test. You simply have to enjoy yourself. A life without challenge is not a life. If you just remain the same or keep on enjoying, this is not a life at all. I can give you one example. You can better understand with the रेशम का जो कीड़ा होता है वो किस तरह से डेवलप होता है, वो कोकून वो किस तरह से तोड़ता है, किस तरह से उसके पंख मजबूत होते हैं। एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया गया कि एक रेशम का कीड़ा कोकून से निकलने का प्रयास कर रहा था। उसका जो है छेक बना दिया गया, ऊपर से छिद्र एक होल कर दिया गया। उससे जब वो निकला कीड़ा तो वो उड़ नहीं पा रहा था क्योंकि उसके पंख मजबूत नहीं हो पाए थे। उसने स्ट्रगल नहीं सहा, उसने जो है प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ लाइफ नहीं सही। तो यही है जीवन में, प्रॉब्लम्स अगर लाइफ है तो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। Whether our challenges are self-imposed or forced upon us, they make us work, think and appreciate the more desirable aspect of life. That is why many rich people are very bored with their lives, especially who inherit their wealth. Means the richest people who just they keep on enjoying their life. After some months or years, they found that it is just a void. or vacuum. So they start taking the drugs because all their needs are fulfilled already with their birth. Buddha went on to tell his followers that the essence of all things was empty. One big illusion. Nothing is born, nothing dies. We never born, we never dies. We use the word pass. So we pass our life from birth to death. We never born, we never dies. In emptiness, there is no form, there is no suffering, there is nothing to be struggled or achieved. We are fundamentally discontent with what we have. Emptiness does not mean no longer enjoy life. All joys, all pleasures are momentary. So it is worth the effort. Growth is illusion created by Western capitalist society. What type of growth, what type of development we want? ओशो रजनीश ने भी एक कहानी लिखी है और हमें समझाया है, जो हम प्रेजेंट लाइफ हम जी रहे हैं, जो 99 के फेर में हम पड़े हुए हैं। अकबर के दरबार में एक दरबारी था, उसे 2 टका रोज मिलते थे और वो शाम तक अपने 2 टका खर्च कर देता था और बहुत प्रसन्नचित रहता था। तो अकबर ने बीरबल को बुलाया और पूछा कि ये मेरा दरबारी बहुत प्रसन्न रहता है, इसकी प्रसन्नता का क्या कारण है? तो बीरबल ने कहा कि ये तो मैं नहीं बता सकता कि इसकी प्रसन्नता का क्या कारण है, लेकिन इसे हाँ 99 के फेर में मैं जरूर डाल सकता हूँ। तो अकबर ने कहा कि हाँ दिखाइए आप क्या कर सकते हैं आप। तो उसी शाम को बीरबल ने एक पोटली ली, उसमें 99 टके उसने रखे, वो पोटली बंद की और उसके घर में चुपके से डाल दी। वो व्यक्ति सुबह उठा, उसने पोटली देखी, पोटली खोली, टके गिने तो उसमें 99 टके थे। उसे रोज 2 टके मिलते थे। तो वो सारे दिन सोचने लगा कि अगर मैं 1 टका उस 99 में मिला दूं तो मेरे पास 100 टके हो जाएंगे। और वो उसी परेशानी में अपना एंजॉयमेंट, अपनी ब्लिस भूल गया। उसके उस दिन 1 टका उसने बचाया जो 2 वो खर्च करता था, 1 टका उसने पोटली में रखा तो 100 हो गए। अगले दिन वो फिर वो इसी चक्कर में पड़ गया, 101 कब होंगे, 199 कब होंगे, 200 कब होंगे। तो यही हमारा जीवन है कि हम अपना जीवन नहीं जी पाते हैं और पैसा एक साधन है, एक माध्यम है, उसे ही हम जो है सब कुछ मान लेते हैं, उसी की हम पूजा आरंभ कर देते हैं। अभी सर ने कहा कि हम एक प्रेयर पे भी करें, क्या प्रार्थना क्या होती है, क्या हमारे साधक है, क्या साध्य है, तो हम उसे जो है साध्य बना लेते हैं पैसे को, और उसके पीछे अपना पूरा जीवन हम समाप्त कर देते हैं और हम ये समझ नहीं पाते हैं कि व्हाट इज आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग। हाउ डू यू come out of your negative emotions? All thoughts and suggestions come from your mind. If your mind can guide you objectively and realistically, then you would come out of that emotion faster. Our minds are filled with concepts and ideas, most of which have been given without our permission. There are so many thoughts are coming in our minds that have been pressurized by the outside environment. This person said this, why this person said this about me, what is the reason? And there is also a rat race, this materialistic rat race is going, then the money, big cars, big egos, and our minds are full of with this stuff, with this shit, with this garbage. And that is the question, how we can empty our mind. Most people suffer on account of their negative emotions, desires, and so on. These are completely unnecessary. Most people struggle when they want to eat, they can't. When they want to sleep, they can't. When they want to be quiet, they cannot. That is a big question. Why? Why? When they try to sleep, the thoughts are coming. Oh, that person said this thing or these things about me. Why? So our minds are full of all those garbage that is coming from outside. When you don't let go of your grace, your goodness, is irrespective of the circumstances, you are being divine. We are born divine. We are part of that divinity. Your body is a temple, a divine instrument, to treat it with care. You have to treat it with care. Do not try to fill it with that garbage. that is being forced in your mind. No meditation is possible without a sound body. First, you should have a sound body, then only the meditation is possible. The more storage we have in our homes, we have that garbage in our minds, and it has a capacity to store. The more junks we are storing in our minds, we keep storing or stocking our cupboards, dryers, and attics. That's what happens with our minds. We keep unnecessary thoughts, unnecessary things keep on coming in our minds, and we keep on thinking and thinking and thinking. And this creates stress. And what stress creates? It creates certain your biological health problems. We keep putting stuff in our mind without our permission. You have to think this thought. I am the light. I have no grudges against anybody. I don't have any problem with anyone else because I am the light. We keep inside, we keep on collecting the junk inside our minds. And these things affect our mental and emotional state, our emotional health. All the emotions inside us determine how healthy we are going to be. Slowly and slowly, we are destroying our limbs, our inside organs by all this unnecessary stuff we are collecting inside our minds. At least emotionally and from the perspective of the consciousness, we should try to think what we are trying, how we can empty our minds. There is no outlet. You keep filling it up. Many thoughts, emotions, pressures keep on coming, coming, and coming. And what these things create, they create blood pressure. Later on, you have cholesterol, you have sugar, you have hypertension. Thinking about somebody negatively, you are simply causing yourself the grief. The other person does not even know you are thinking what you are thinking about them. It is you are yourself destroying your own inner organs, your own inner positive vibrations. Negative thoughts creates what they create. I have met so many negative people. Though outwardly they look very positive, but inside, from inside, they are very negative. And I have found what I have found in them, either they are suffering from cholesterol or they are suffering from sugar, they are suffering from diabetes. So perhaps these are the product of their negative thoughts or the useless stuff they have created in their minds. For mindfulness, you can practice when you find yourself bothered by thoughts of somebody. What you can do a diary or a notepad and write down the names of the people you feel negatively about and the negative emotions associated with those names. Write down what you feel. I feel anger, I feel jealousy, I feel envy. The process will be enough to make your mind free of that negativity. Pour out your negative emotions. Try to create emptiness in your mind. Try to fill it with the fragrance of love and positivity. Pour out your heart and empty yourself. Forgiveness. But you have to learn the forgiveness. Mahatma Gandhi has said, forgiveness is the attribute of the brave, not it is not for the cowards. And we can recite these lines when we feel that the unnecessary stuff is coming in our minds. I am a beautiful being, an infinite soul, a part of the divine soul. Emotions are temporary. They will never be a part of me. I feel the purity in my heart now. And I feel that purity in my mind. I feel the light. I feel the bliss. That's why I am smiling. That's why I am smiling. We are not human beings on the divine path. We are all divine beings on the human path. So we have to think these things, how we can ease out our negative emotions or useless stuff we have stored inside our minds. Knowing that everything is empty, walking the path of meditation by simply meditating is not enough. When you sit down to meditate, you are unlikely to experience peace or bliss. Sometimes the situation is such that either you hurt yourself or you are going to hurt other person. There sometimes these emotions create a kind of more dangerous emotions that you want to kill yourself or you want to kill the other person. The ability to speak politely, softly, no matter what the circumstances is the hallmark of a truly enlightened being. Before you speak, just take a step back for a moment and reflect your own words. The reason most people feel angry and unfulfilled in their lives because they want someone else to wake to make the choices for them, to make the choices for them. We go to make our own choices. Our life is related with ourselves, not with somebody else. If they are saying some negative emotions or negative things about us, we should not have to feel those negativity in our minds. We should keep on blossoming like a flower. I would like to recite one poem, Hindi poem, at this occasion, and the title of the poem is Jindagi. न जाने क्या क्या रंग दिखाती है जिंदगी, कभी हंसाती कभी रुलाती है जिंदगी, कभी पाते हैं हम एवरेस्ट सी ऊंचाइयां, कभी डूबते हैं बीच समंदर में हम, उठाकर फिर से गिराती है जिंदगी, पल पल नई परीक्षा लेती है जिंदगी, अच्छे बुरे का अंतर दिखाती है यह जिंदगी, यहीं पर स्वर्ग यहीं पर नर्क दिखाती है ये जिंदगी। इस धन दौलत ने मानव का जीवन किया है मुहाल, हर इंसान का ईमान डिगाती है जिंदगी। न जाने क्या क्या रंग दिखाती है ये जिंदगी, कभी हंसाती कभी रुलाती है ये जिंदगी, कभी पाते हैं हम एवरेस्ट सी ऊंचाइयां और कभी डूब जाते हैं हम बीच समंदर में। I would like to recite one more poem from this poetry collection Lamp of Love, and the title of the poem is Smile a While with Me Now. I want to finish this mindfulness with a smile. In a pensive mood, we crave to travel thousands of miles. We do not need roads, but we just want life's tender smile. When we are amidst problems within strife, flying all around, as darkness easily abounds, where no friend is easily found, we should just smile inside for holding on a little while. Where our life has turned so tight and tough, then all efforts come appearing to turn so vile. We just need our deepening in a little drop of a sweet smile, where our life becomes so confusing and even uptight, when light has grown dim and work begins to bite. We just need our dearest inside a sweet little drop of a smile. Smile a while with me now. So keep smiling, keep spreading your positive thoughts, keep blossoming like a flower, because we are all divine beings upon this human path. And thank you very much, Monica ji,
Thank you.
Manjeet ji, Renu ji, and all the other participants, Prema ji, and there is one more person. And so I thank
Amita
you
ji.
all. Yeah, Amita ji, I thank you all. And I pray for you all that next year will be full of smiles for all of you and you will enjoy the real life. And as a team, we're together, keep on smiling and doing these types of webinars for the whole humanity. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. It was beautiful. You really brought down the details as well of how to go about it and what not to feel, what to feel, and ended with a good note on positivity. Thank you. Welcome, Amitaji. Now we can see you.
I said, let me
At
say
last.
Happy
Yes.
New Year and Merry
Good.
Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Manjeet ji, did you want to say something? Please?
जी, मैं कुछ ख्याल जरूर साझे करना
जी।
चाहूँगा। मैं साइकोलॉजी का स्टूडेंट तो नहीं हूँ, लेकिन जो भी मैं शेयर करना चाहता हूँ वो उसका संदर्भ है आत्मवाद से है,
जी।
जो मैं खुद महसूस करता हूँ, अनुभव करता हूँ, उसके बारे में जिक्र करूँगा।
जी।
सबसे पहले ये माइंडफुल और माइंडफुलनेस क्या है, ये मेरे जहन में ये सवाल उठता है। अगर मैं लिटरल मीनिंग देखूं, माइंडफुल मेरे दिल में, मन में, दिल में, दिमाग में, मन में, जहन में जो भरा हुआ है उसको मैं माइंडफुल कहता हूँ।
ठीक।
अब आम तौर पर मेरे दिल, दिमाग, मन में, जहन में जो भरा होता है उसको मैं 3 भागों में बांट सकता हूँ।
अच्छा।
या तो वह गुजरा हुआ कल, उसकी यादें हैं, या तो वो आने वाला कल, उसकी चिंता है, या फिर वो पल जो मैं अभी जी रहा हूं, यानी कि वर्तमान है। अगर मैं अपने जीवन में एक झांकी डालता हूं तो मैंने देखा कि जब मैं बचपन में शिशु और लड़कपन का समय था तो उस समय मैं हमेशा भविष्य की चिंता में खोया रहता था।
सही।
कि भाई जब मैं जवान होऊंगा तो मैं क्या करूंगा, कैसे करूंगा। तो ऐसे मेरा बचपन बीता। फिर जवानी आ गई। जब जवानी आ गई तो मैंने ये देखा कि मेरा सुनहरा बचपन चला गया। मैं उसके बारे में जिक्र किया करता था कि मेरे बापूजी, मेरे दादा, मेरे बड़े ऐसे मेरा ख्याल रखते थे। मैं इस खानदान से हूँ, मैं ये मौजे करके आया हूँ। इसी में मेरी जवानी निकल गई। अब अधेड़ उम्र में तो ये अनुभव हो गया, बचपन का भी अनुभव निकल गया, जवानी का भी निकल गया। तब जाकर के पता चला कि भाई मैंने बचपन और जवानी तो चिंता में और सुनहरे दिनों में खो दिया। वर्तमान में तो मैं कभी जिया ही नहीं। तो अब जब ये समझ आई तो मैं उसको माइंडफुल कहता हूँ। और ये प्रक्रिया जिसके जरिए मुझे इस बात का बोध होता है कि मैं वर्तमान में जी रहा हूँ कि नहीं जी रहा हूँ, उसको मैं माइंडफुलनेस कहता हूँ।
अच्छा।
इस बात का बोध होना। अच्छा, माइंडफुलनेस या माइंडफुल होना, ये प्रक्रिया जो है पहले तो इस बात से आती है कि पहले हम कबूल करें कि हम माइंडफुल थे, है या नहीं। जब इस बात का बोध होता है तब खुद को एहसास होता है। ये किसी के सिखाए से नहीं सीखा जा सकता, मेरा निजी अनुभव है। हाँ, लोग हमें बता सकते हैं, बहुत सारे तरीके हैं। कोई योग साधना करता है, कोई एकांत में बैठ के किसी प्रिय वस्तु या जन की याद में खो जाता है, जैसे कि माँ बच्चे के याद में या बच्चा माँ की याद में खो जाता है। प्रेमी प्रेमिकाएं अपने प्रेमी और प्रेमिकाएं की यादों में खो जाते हैं। भगत जन प्रभु की याद में खो जाते हैं। इस प्रकार से तो श्री गुरु नानक देव जी ने बताया है कि मैं हूँ आदमी एक दमी, यानी कि मैं एक पल में जो कर सकता हूँ वही मेरा जीवन है। और वो बता कर गए हैं कि भाई हम एक पल में उस प्रभु को ही याद कर सकते हैं। इसी तरह से उन्होंने सरल करके बताया कि हर समय प्रभु को याद करना इतना ही सरल है जितना कि हम एक पल में उसको याद कर ले। अगर वो एक पल जुड़ता जाएगा तो हर पल बन जाएगा। जैसे कि और भी बहुत सारे उदाहरण है, जैसे मीरा जी ने किया था उदाहरण। प्रभु श्री कृष्ण जी की याद में मीरा जी से बड़ा भगत कोई नहीं हुआ है इतिहास में। तो इसी तरह से और भी बहुत सारे भगत जन हुए हैं जिन्होंने वर्तमान में जीने का तरीका, जो भाई साहब ने भी बताया कि आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग, कुछ लोग आजकल आधुनिक शब्दों का इस्तेमाल करके अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करते हैं, लेकिन अगर हम प्राचीन भारतीय संस्कृति में झांकी डालेंगे तो हम देखेंगे ये हमारी विरासत पुराने काल से रही है।
जी,
बस फर्क सिर्फ इतना रहा है कि बीच में हम इसको भुला चुके हैं
हाँ,
और अब नए नए शब्दों के जरिए इसको वापस लाने का प्रयत्न करते हैं और उस पर हम अपनी छाप छोड़ देते हैं कि भाई ये कुछ नया है। ये नया कुछ नहीं है। क्यों? क्योंकि मनुष्य बहुत आदिकाल से है, पुराने काल से है, और मनुष्य के मन में, उसके धारणा में, उसके दिल में, दिमाग में ये सब तब से चलता है जब से प्रभु ने मनुष्य की स्थापना की है। ऐसा मेरा मानना है।
जी,
अच्छा, अब सवाल ये उठता है कि इससे लाभ कैसे लिया जाए। अगर मुझे इस बात का बोध है कि मैं जो सोच रहा हूं उसी में मैं पूर्ण तौर से समाया हुआ हूं, तो उससे क्या मिलेगा? मुझे मिलेगा एक अनुभव, एक आनंद, और ये आनंद ही वो खुशी है जिसका जिक्र भाई साहब कर रहे थे, उन्होंने उदाहरण में दिया। तो ये आनंद का अगर ये आनंद हम हर पल लेते हैं तो हमारा जीवन आनंद से भरपूर हो जाता है और फिर हम हर समय खुश रहते हैं। और इसी के विपरीत अगर हम अब चिंता में या फिर बीते हुए कल में डूबे रहते हैं तो थोड़ी देर का सुकून जरूर मिल सकता है, क्योंकि उनकी अपनी अपनी जगह है, लेकिन देर सवेर उसमें से थकान पैदा हो जाती है। इसीलिए वो कहते हैं कि वर्तमान में जीना सीखें, वर्तमान में रहेंगे तो माइंडफुल रहेंगे। अच्छा, इसको और विस्तार में अगर डालूं, जैसे मुझे लगता है कि तन और मन का जब मेल हो जाए तो उसको भी माइंडफुलनेस कहते हैं। जैसे कि जो मेरा तन कर रहा है उसी में मेरा मन समाया हो तो इसमें एकाग्रता आती है। जब एकाग्रता आती है तो जो चीज में हम लीन हैं उसमें से आनंद प्रफुल्लेगा, फूटेगा और जीवन सुखदायी होगा। ऐसा मैंने अनुभव किया है, इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूं। बाकी आप सब ज्ञानी जन हैं, आप इस बात का एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं और देख सकते हैं कि भाई इसमें कितना सच है कि नहीं है। अभी ये नया शब्द इस्तेमाल किया जाता है माइंडफुलनेस, जिसको हम पुराने काल में जैसे हमारे बुजुर्ग कहा करते थे, बेटा ध्यान से। किसी भी कार्य को अगर हम ध्यान से करें, उसमें पूरी तरह से जागरूक होकर के, समा करके करें, तो हमें सफलता मिलेगी। ऐसा पुराने काल से हमें सिखाया जाता है। तो मैं यही कहना चाहता हूं, शब्द हम कुछ भी इस्तेमाल करें, अगर शब्द और सुरत का मेल हो तो हमें उससे आनंद मिलता है। यही साधना है, चाहे वो योग की साधना हो, चाहे वो मेडिटेशन हो, चाहे वो किसी एक चीज या वस्तु या किसी शख्सियत की आराधना की जाए। आज के युग में लोग प्रार्थना को भी ये एक रूप देते हैं, क्योंकि उस प्रभु से बड़ा आराधना कोई हो नहीं सकती, और उसका ध्यान करना अपने आप में एक प्रसन्नता का विषय है, जो शायद हम आगे जाकर के उस पर विस्तार से कभी विचार कर पाएंगे, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। बस इन्हीं ख्यालों के साथ आप सबका बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ। शुक्रिया खास करके मोनिका जी का, जिन्होंने अवसर दिया अपने विचार आपसे साझे करने का, और आप सबके भी विचारों को श्रवण किया। बहुत खुशी है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका कि आपने अपने विचार साझे किए। और जस्ट कुछ मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि ये आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं कि ये सारी चीजें जो आज हम कहते हैं ना, ये बहुत पुराने जमाने से चली आ रही हैं और हम इनको रिपीट ही करते जा रहे हैं। लेकिन बात ये होता है कि बात ये है कि ये जो हमारी यंग जनरेशन है, वो उनकी डिमांड होती है कि ओह गॉड दिस ओल्ड, ये बहुत पुराने विचार हैं, दकियानुसी हैं, दे आर बैकवर्ड्स एंड ट्रेडिशनल, सो they want to know more about the ins and outs and how and why of all of these things. So that's I think that's probably the purpose behind it, that it's being reinvented all the time and re-explained and re-explored and re-demonstrated all the time. And but yeah, they've been done for a long time. It's the same thing, nothing new. And other thing is about, yes, you mentioned about whether it's meditation, it's prayer, ekantnas, this, anything that helps, because all the purpose is to calm your mind and to have that alaukik anand, that conscious, that enjoyness, the joyfulness, and that puts us towards. So present, if we, Guru Nanak Ji's words, beautiful, that you just keep on adding those present moments together, they're going to build your future. I mean, if your past is full of those present moments, then your present is full of those present moments, your future will be full of those present moments. There we have it. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Manjeet ji. That kind of encouraged me to just share a couple of poems with you. I'd like to, if nobody minds, can I just share a couple of poems, please? Okay. So the first one is Taming the Storm. It's about self-realization and self-reflection, which is about being mindful, and it comes from that. When you think, when you become observant, when you become alert and you become aware. This is called Taming the Storm. I found it motionless in the golden cage. Didn't want to be freed, hissed at me in rage. So loving, so caring, yet so afraid. I opened the door, still it wouldn't fly away. I asked gently what it feared. No answer, it shied away. The longing in its eyes quickly looked away. I have everything here. My wish is my command. Why I want to leave here? I have no further demands. I pursued and asked away. Where is your will to fly away? You are a prisoner here, sitting at the dock of the bay. The eyes peered at me with sea of knowledge. It too once thought not too late. I saw a young mind entangled, entwined, embracing its fate, staggering on dilemmas imposed by conscience, how it must oblige and must repay each favor, no questions asked, no conditions, performing the deeds for its sailor. I held the mirror to the cage, showing deep cuts in his face. This is not the play of nature. It's your own aura, face to face. Self-realization stemming from self-reflection. No one tamed the storm in cage. Gloating in self-pity and desolation, storm sought refuge of the golden cage. Licking and healing its wounds, storm came into being, moving on its path, carving its own destiny. So when the self-realization comes, people move themselves. And they do, you can have your own destiny too in that. And lastly, I want to just end with, we were talking about Kal Aaj Aur Kal. So here's one poem, small one. Kal so gaya aaj ke liye, यूं हो गया पल के लिए. कल जाग गया आज के लिए, फिर खो गया लम्हे में. दस्तूर निभाते कल आज और कल, समय निगल कर दस्तूरे रंज, ना कभी वापस आएगी मियान में तलवार जो निकली सरूरे वक्त. कल से ना बेरुखी कद्र आज की, कल से समझौता सहर आलमी. दौर गुजरा, दौर है, दौर आएगा, इसी दौर में निकल जाएगी जान हमारी.
जिंदगी.
Yeah, welcome back, Manjeet ji. So we're just wrapping up, and this is our last one for this year, last webinar for this year. And happy holidays till next year. Happy 2022. And we will be seeing you again, and we'll be back with our schedule for next year. And any comments, suggestions you want to, you can send them to the emails here, or to Bharat Times or to Dr. Ram Sharma anywhere or in the group on WhatsApp, and any more topics that you'd like to see. So I'll wait maybe till the end of this year, and then we will refill all the topics for the next year. So again, thank you very much. And thank you for making it a success, these webinars, and we will see you again next year. So
Thank you
Happy
very much,
holidays,
Monica
everybody.
and
thank
everyone.
you.
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to
Yes,
everyone.
you too. Thank you.